red leather, yellow leather.
My favorite, obviously, in high school was I am a mother pheasant plucker. I like to pluck mother pheasants. I'm the most pleasant mother pheasant plucker to ever pluck mother pheasants.
I would just say motherfucker.
Yeah.
Somewhere up in there.
That was my favorite.
Emily's favorite is aluminum, linoleum.
It's just that, right? Aluminum, linoleum.
Yeah, I think so. I thought there was a third thing. I don't know.
And then there's...
I always want to say petroleum at the end, but I don't know why.
There was a long one that we used to do. I'll think of it. It ended with like, it'll come to me. This is going to bother me. I can't just do the end.
You just blurt it out in the middle of a show.
I will.
If you think of it.
Oh, I got it.
What is it?
To sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock
Woo!
in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper and a big black block. And that was like what we would do before performances at Noga's. We'd go through all of these. And that was one for like articulation that we would have to do. And we would get fussed at hard if we didn't do the whole thing.
All right.
I think we're adequately warmed up.
I think we're ready to go. Hey everyone, welcome to With That Being Said, a Rue Fitness podcast. I'm Bradley Schneller. This is
Sarah Altabello.
We got this on lockdown.
Yeah,
so
we finally figured it out. And by we, I mean I.
Yeah, if you can't tell, it is cold outside.
Yeah.
Sarah's got her hat on. I got double layers on. So every time I have to go to the bathroom, I have to take off like a ton of stuff.
But no infinity scarf.
No infinity scarf.
Lacking that today.
I just haven't felt like dealing with that lately. So,
I mean, it's a lot of snaps.
It's a lot of snaps. And then you have to like do that thing on the side. You have to do that. So, icebreaker for today.
What is a fitness fad or trend that you bought into at some point?
So, go ahead.
I said I fully bought into the Fitbit. And not that there's not things about it that are useful, but it like didn't really teach me anything.
Right.
And I thought it would, and I thought just like having this wearable was going to make me a fitter human being. And then my mom, at some point, like in the 90s, did like the Slim Fast and the Snack Wells and these like low calorie, low fat things. And I ate a lot of that too because I thought like it's got to be better. It's got less calories.
Does Hydroxycut count?
Oh yeah,
I used to take Hydroxycut.
I had like one bottle of that. I don't think I finished it, but I totally was like, let's try this.
Constantly felt like my heart was about to explode.
Yeah.
I did that in high school into college, and it.
You did it that long?
Yeah, well, not that long.
You lived with like
I went back and forth.
Okay.
I feel like it worked sometimes, but I feel like if I would have worked out now, like I work out now then and taken Hydroxycut, you would have died? I would have got cut.
And then died. Like
or
your heart
died.
would have exploded.
I possibly could have died.
You would have looked great for 2 days and then...
Yeah. I also had a Fitbit.
Mm-hmm.
I just wore it. But that was about it. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, today's show, we are talking about 2020 health and fitness trends. I went ahead and like compiled a list, top 10 list.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of different various publications, websites. A lot of them have the same stuff. So I tried to pick 10 that were not too woo-woo. There was a lot of woo-woo stuff out there.
Can you define woo-woo? Use it in a sentence.
Yeah. So I went to my yoga teacher, and we had this woo-woo meditation prior to ever doing any chaturangas. How's that?
Thank you. That was exactly what I was looking for.
All right.
Like I had a very woo-woo yoga teacher who everything was taking a sweet breath in and a delicious breath out.
Ooh, sweet and delicious. All
for your breathing.
For your breathing. That would leave me hungry.
Woo-woo.
Woo-woo. That's definitely woo-woo. So, all right, let's jump in.
Yeah.
So, Number one on the list, and this is in no particular order of importance or popularity, just number one. Running is back.
Yeah, I want to. Okay, so this, I want to hear more what you have to say because I can't. Like, I grew up in a household where my dad was a runner, so to me, it like never really left. So, what are you seeing with running?
Well, I mean, we have a coach who is now doing his second half marathon in a year's span. So I feel like we also have some members, though, that used to run a lot that don't run a lot anymore. But at the same time, I am programming a lot more running.
Yeah.
I enjoy running. I like running. I think it's a good form of exercise. I just can't do too much of it for too long.
Right. I think if you're going to do serious long distance running, you can't just jump into that and like even your 30s, 40s, like you have to be kind of conditioned for that going in. But I guess what we are seeing a lot of is like Jonathan, who's doing these half marathons, is runners recognizing the importance of cross training for strength and
absolutely. So he does
longevity.
He does one long run a week,
mm-hmm.
And by one long run, I mean like 5 miles.
Yeah,
5 to 7 miles. So he doesn't even get up to 13. And then he does a mixture of strength training with it.
Right.
So I mean, I think it's back. Like I was telling somebody yesterday, and I think it depends on the individual. Like, I can't squat heavy in a week and then run 3 miles.
Yeah.
I can't do that together in a week. Like, it's too much for my knees. But that's just me.
Right.
Like, whereas Jonathan can run 5 to 7 miles and also squat.
Very true.
Heavy for him.
If I could put an asterisk next to Bradley's face.
We shared a bar yesterday, and he did not go where I went. Let's just say that. But he did beat me in the Metcon, so.
But y'all did go other places together yesterday.
We did go other places together with the clamshell side planks. So we'll leave it with tip to tip.
With that being said, what's number 2?
The war on sitting will resume. So this is a very big PT thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it the first person I ever heard talk about sitting, as we sit here during the podcast, was Lynn Grimm. Shout out to Lynn Grimm.
Yeah.
Lynn Grimm PT. She said sitting is the new smoking. She said that maybe 3 years ago. But since then, I have seen that sign pop up everywhere. So what do you think? Do you find like more people are standing to work or getting moving desks or what?
100%. We got these, kind of our whole setup next door in Chelsea and I's office is so that I could sit or stand and my desk is at the same height. I hear so much about people investing in getting standing desks for work now, just because it's not only uncomfortable, like they just see so many other repercussions from sitting at their desk all day.
When I was at the Westin, I went and got like a AV cart and like pulled it into my office and then like created a standing desk because it didn't exist then.
Right.
And my boss and all my colleagues thought I was crazy. And I also like switched.
You were hip before it was hip to be hip.
Yeah, I switched to an exercise ball to sit on originally. And
prepping for childbirth.
Let me just say this, like, I wasn't concentrated anymore. If not, I was more like squirrel than ever before. I do think it is terrible to just sit all day. One thing that I do, and it's not in here because I took it home and I just haven't brought it back, but I keep a kettlebell next to my desk. And every 5 to 10 minutes, I will get up and do like a set of 15 to 20 kettlebell swings, 5 goblet squats, and 5 jumping deadlifts.
Yeah. I will very purposely, since our offices are separated, like mail comes, I use that as an excuse to like, okay, you need to stand up, you need to stretch your legs, bring it over here, things like that throughout the day.
Yeah. So as I think a standing desk or something where you're exercising while working might work for some people. I think it's hard for a lot of people to concentrate and stand the entire time or get into a flow. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's a personal individual decision.
I think so too. I think there's also just talking, especially there's a couple of nutrition clients that come to mind that it seems like their bosses automatically equate, like if they're standing, that they're not doing work. So that sometimes causes stress.
Interesting. That's weird. Anyway, my point being is like you shouldn't just sit for 3 hours straight. So
no,
you should get up to take a little 5-10 minute walk. It'll be good for your concentration back on work, or do kettlebell swings or air squats or push-ups while you work.
Yeah, it's way better to work for X amount of time and take a purposeful break than
I agree with that.
Try and force yourself to sit and then you get distracted and you're not nearly as productive.
Right. All right. So number 3, working out at home will pick up steam. So think Peloton, the mirror, those types of things.
It is so interesting to me, this mirror thing. I haven't seen one in person. Have you?
I haven't seen one in person. I've only seen the commercial for the mirror. I think it's dumb as hell. But they're going to make a ton of money.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's a reason things like P90X, like these workout at home things.
Now, look,
became big, but like that is joy. For me, that is joyless.
I love the Peloton.
Yeah.
Like I came home, I tried it one time over, it was like Thanksgiving or something, right?
Yeah, you texted me like you had to have still been sitting on the bike.
Yeah.
You're like, this is great.
I really enjoyed riding the Peloton. It could never be my main mode of working out.
Right.
And I know they have various things now, like they have yoga. If you have a subscription to Peloton, they have yoga. You can get some dumbbells. We'll do like a little weighted workout. But, little 25, 30-pound dumbbells isn't going to do the trick for me. So I need real weight training.
Not when you've got the 70-pound kettlebell every 10 minutes at work.
And so, like, weight training is what I like to do.
Right.
I think a lot of people like to do. And quite honestly, most people that have a Peloton also have like a gym membership somewhere.
Right.
So basically you just have to be rich as fuck.
Yeah. I mean, if you're investing that kind of money to keep that at home, chances are you're already doing a lot of fitness anyway.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure that it's going to continue to pick up steam. I think it will level off. Unless they come up with a cheaper option, which I don't see how it's possible. But I do like the Peloton bike. I am a fan of it. I'm not a fan of the mirror, although it's a brilliant idea.
I just don't think it has longevity.
Yeah, I agree with that. So there you have it. Number 4. Oh, I like this. We will continue to argue over the minutia and miss the big picture. So, for example, are interval workouts better for you than running long distances? Breakfast the most important meal of the day? It's just another meal. Is extending your overnight fast better? Which one is the evil ill to all your problems? Fat, sugar, or animal protein? So, stupid stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people. A question I get asked a lot in nutrition coaching, especially from members here, is which class should I take more of? Like, should I take more CrossFit? Should I take more Sculpt? Do I need to include endurance to help me reach my goals? And in terms of that, I think you need to do some weight training, no matter what. But at the end of the day, it's what you enjoy.
Yeah, I also think it's like the
movement.
Big picture is eat less, move more.
Yeah.
Emily talks about this all the time. Is when she got into nutrition coaching, and she would get questions like, what's better for me to eat, watermelon or blueberries? And she's like, how about you stop eating the Snickers bar that's in your food log? We're missing the big picture here.
Yeah, we just started the 800-gram challenge, and so many people are asking, oh my God, you're saying it's okay to have this much fruit?
Right.
Yep, it sure is.
It sure is, right.
There's a lot of other things to worry about.
In most people, the fruit isn't the thing that is killing your diet, okay? So, yes, we will continue to argue over the minutia. That isn't ending anytime soon.
No.
But keep your eye on the big picture.
Exactly. Yeah, that sums it up.
All right, this one is not my wheelhouse. Mindfulness will prove that it's not just a fad.
Yeah.
So this goes back to the woo-woo stuff, but it's not really woo-woo. We ask people to be mindful all the time, and I think mindfulness can be different for everyone. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean meditation.
No, mindfulness can. It is what you make it. If you define mindfulness as 10 minutes of meditation a day, or for me, mindfulness is the self-care and like taking 10 to 15 minutes every night to pack my food. Like that to me is mindfulness, and is something that is small that sets me up for success.
It could also be like, I know you and Emily talk about this all the time, which is trying to think about the food that you're eating.
Yeah.
Enjoy the taste or think about all the different ones.
Right. It's being present in what you're doing, whether that's recording a podcast or your workout, or your food, and giving it when you give it present. When you're present, you also give it intentionality, and it becomes a choice and not something mindless.
Well, it's almost like you need to be mindful in order to achieve super success.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But, I think mindfulness is something like a very broad umbrella, and you can fit a lot under there. But I think it's crucial to any long-term success.
I like it. So mindfulness is a thing.
2020.
All right, number 6. This one's fun.
Halfway home.
Functional beverages. So this.
Please explain for the people at home what a functional beverage is.
This is a drink that has additional health benefits like herbs, vitamins, nootropics, amino acids, additional raw fruit or vegetables. We're going to see more of this in the new year. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I mean, we just got samples from Fit Aid to try their CBD Fit Aid. Like, they're putting that now in a fizzy recovery drink.
Yeah, and look, Life Aid, I love your drinks. I love the 0 calorie. The CBD Fit Aid is not one of them.
Yeah, there's worse things.
There's worse things, but
it wasn't my favorite. I appreciate the thought, but not always executed.
But I do love, like, I'm into functional beverages. Like, if they came out with, I know they have them, the cold brew with like amino acids or protein in it.
Yeah.
I would be all down for it. They have it. I just haven't had one that tastes super good. And
I tried, there's a small company, the name I can't think of off the top of my head, but they do like a nitro cold brew with protein in it. And it's not bad.
It's also super expensive.
It is. I think kind of going back to not getting stuck on the little things and worrying about the big picture is like, I think, look at the labels of these drinks. Some of them are going to be great. Some are not, but also don't get dependent on them to help you reach whatever goals you have. Or like
unless it's a Fit Aid and you go to Rue and you're just used to buying it after every class.
Then keep going.
Keep doing that.
But like, if you take CBD to help you sleep or with inflammation and recovery or anxiety, slamming 10 CBD Fit Aids is not gonna solve anything and might actually create some other problems.
So one of the new things coming out is a hard seltzer with probiotics.
Why?
It's a White Claw that helps cure your gut.
That's nice. Just drink a kombucha, y'all.
Yeah, come on. Just throw some vodka in a kombucha. You'll be good to go. All right, number 7. Health and sustainability and weight loss. I like this one a lot. So 2020 will be the year of more functional and holistic long-term approach to weight loss rather than rapid diets of years past. So the trend will continue to go away from the focus on rapid weight loss and towards true sustainability. So
I mean, we mirrored that here at Rue.
Yeah, I agree.
From the way the challenges worked before, which I think were not bad, but it was a lot more aggressive. Like you were focusing on a lot of things at once. And then last year we really switched it and started focusing on habits and stacking those habits. And we saw a lot more success through that.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that in a lot of other areas as well.
I agree. I think it's not like the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s where it was like, let me get model fit real quick.
Right.
Where it's more like everybody's realizing that a long-term approach may be the best approach.
And I think this is one way that like the internet really helps is like you feel like it's more, you hear more about, like I remember hearing about how Christian Bale lost all that weight for, what was the movie? He was the insomniac. Someone out there will comment below with this, but he lost a ton of weight super fast. And you had all of these people saying how bad and how dangerous it was. And it wouldn't have been as publicized, I don't think, if it wasn't for the internet. And the pictures coming out and paparazzi taking photos of him.
There would have been some article in Muscle Fitness magazine that came out and said, like, lose 30 pounds and gain, 12 pounds of muscle in 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I still think, kind of looping back to that other thing, like, people are still caught up in, like, the little things, but I think they're starting to understand that rapid weight loss is not sustainable and that's not good.
Right.
I think we still struggle in general with how to go about it, but there's more of an understanding that is not the way to go.
We'll think about a lot of the bodybuilding community that want to take off weight rapidly, and they end up rapidly putting it back on. And there's a big yo-yo effect. So just consider that. So yeah, that has staying power. Number 8, working out in groups. So this is small focus groups, including small training groups and fitness classes. So this is interesting because this goes directly against the working out at home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have kind of like we have an 8:30 a.m. small group that we do here. I don't know. Small groups tend to be more expensive, so I'm not really sure. I think people prefer smaller groups.
Right.
But is that opposed to like 25-person classes or personal training or stay at home? So, I mean, yeah, I think people prefer like to work out in a group of 5 to 10 people.
Yeah, I think it's like a hot button thing. It gets people talking and in the door, and the idea of working out in a small group like that makes you immediately feel like you're getting a lot of attention, and there's like a comfort there. But it isn't affordable for a lot of people. Right. And then I think they most of the times end up in larger group classes, occasionally at home. But I think it's a good tool to get people to try something new, but I don't know that it's going to explode in 2020. In
general, though, I will say that I think just working out in groups, period, like group fitness training, is still trending in an upward direction. It may not be like necessarily CrossFit, right? But you still have more Orange Theories, Barry's Boot Camps, F45, all these other group facilities opening up. So, yeah, I still think the group class is growing.
There's still a Jazzercise out on Vets.
There you go.
The ladies come
the original
out
group class
on Sunday morning. Yeah.
I wonder if they are the original group training class.
Maybe.
I mean, Jazzercise is pretty old. I remember watching them at Saints games in the 80s.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Number 9, wearable apps and technology. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to say absolutely. So,
I'm seeing an explosion at our gym.
Yeah, so Bob has a Whoop. Coach Bob has a Whoop.
Adam has a Whoop.
He's got a Whoop too.
Keith. Brandy.
So for those of you who don't know, a Whoop is it's kind of like a bracelet that's a heart monitor, but it tracks a bunch of other stuff, including sleep. I want to say it's a lot more reliable than maybe your iWatch.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more components to it.
Right.
And it looks at what you're doing. Once you've had it for a few days, it tells you like how much you should sleep that night based on
what your intensity level of working out should be the next day.
And then to be able, like Bob was showing me today, it was saying you should keep your output between this and this based on your sleep last night. And if you want to feel your best tomorrow, this is where you should keep it between.
So I think they're neat. I want one.
I
want one.
I think it's all, and I think the reason I haven't gotten one yet is my brain is in a million places at once right now.
I'm not sure it's going to help me become any fitter.
No, I think it's all in how
you use it.
But it's interesting
and it could be fun. Yeah, I agree.
And if you genuinely use it and try to focus on getting that much sleep and keeping your strain between X, Y, and Z, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think this will help out with a lot of people that don't know, like they're either 100% or 0%.
Right.
I think this would help out a lot because I find that a lot of people, when they start a functional fitness facility, one that has a little bit competitive aspect to it, like they burn themselves out fast.
Yeah.
Where the goal is to work out, 4 to 6 times a week, depending on who you are, an hour every day. And if you are constantly going at 100% intensity level and you're not seeing the sleep or the recovery, you're going to burn yourself out, and then you're going to have to take a break for weeks, months, whatever.
Right.
And that's not the goal. The goal is to continue to work out forever.
Yeah. And I know for me, part of it that I think would be really interesting and I think is piquing my curiosity a lot is I'm curious to see how that affects me with my anxiety too, because I know that there's days where my heart rate is just jacked up during the day. And that's going to say, even if I work out less, my strain will probably be higher because of how my day has gone, or the fact that like I'm not waking up out of a like sometimes I will wake up and it's not like peaceful. Like I immediately wake up and I'm like,
well, I wonder though on days like that though, and we were kind of talking about this earlier today before we started the show, was if your heart rate's super high, your anxiety level's super high, maybe you still work out maybe the same. You just don't do like a workout that's 5 minutes. That's going to like
a bike
super
for
intense.
15 minutes versus
you do
like
something,
a Fran.
Right. You do something that's a little bit lower on the intensity level. You can still lift heavy, do all that other stuff. Maybe you just don't try to like go balls out. I was trying to think of something else to say.
No.
And I couldn't help but say balls out.
That's fine. We're there.
What would you say if you're a woman? What would be the equivalent to saying balls out?
I feel like nothing I'd be comfortable saying right now.
I almost said something, and then I was like, I probably shouldn't say that on the show.
It's in my head. You can message me about it later.
Would you say tits out?
I guess. That's probably the most equivalent. Like,
yeah.
Some people are kind of like, ugh, that's crass. And other people are like, I don't know, tits are funny. So
right. Yeah. In the Marvelous Mrs Maisel to show on Amazon Prime, it's fantastic. I love it. It's in its 3rd season. It is about a female comedian in the 60s or the 50s or 60s. Anyway, same time as Lenny Bruce, and trying to break through in this male-dominated area. Like it's got some female empowerment stuff to it. I really enjoy it. But Mrs. Maisel's manager is also a female, and every time Miss Maisel goes on stage, she always say tits up. So if she can say it, we can say it, right?
That's fine.
Yeah. I've always put when I publish these shows, not for children.
Oh yeah, that's
just
good.
In case. I mean,
I was
a lot of them are clean.
I keep meaning to ask you about that.
But I always click not for children. So there you go.
I mean, technically, I think we curse in everyone. So
I think we do. All right, number 10. This is going to be controversial.
Yeah.
Body inclusivity. So many fitness companies are hiring trainers with a certain look. A look that may be unattainable or unrealistic for most of us, and this could be really discouraging. So these magazines are thinking that the industry mindset is shifting. So it's no longer about coaching people to be thinner, but coaching people to be stronger, healthier, mentally and physically, so they can live better lives. So to me, this is a 2-parter, where you have the first part and then you have the second part.
Right.
So I absolutely agree we should be coaching people to be stronger and healthier mentally and physically. The thinness or the aesthetics is a byproduct of that.
Right.
I also think it's okay to want to look good.
Right. It's shifting the mindset. Yes, I think it's totally 100% fine if your why is to look good.
Right.
I think it gets skewed and you start to stray the course when looking good means looking specifically like your trainer or like someone else. Now,
so let's get back to this first part. So it's hiring trainers with a certain look that may be unattainable or unrealistic. So, I have never not hired someone because of their look, but it helps if you look like you work out.
Right.
Because if from a business standpoint, no one, like, their first time walking into the gym, like, I had this when I first started CrossFit. I had a coach where I'd be like, oh, you can't climb that rope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like a mind fuck a little bit. And so once you get into the class, you know, after a few weeks, you soon realize that they don't have to look a certain way Or they don't even have to be able to do everything to be able to coach me. Like, they just
Right.
have to know, you know, Greg Glassman can't do what Rich Froning can do, but Greg Glassman could probably coach the shit out of Rich Froning.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Sean Payton sure as fuck can't do what Drew Brees can, but he can coach the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So I think there's a balance.
Right. You want people, like, you want coaches that when new people walk in the door, I think especially here where it's not a certain look, but you want them to instill confidence that they know what they're doing.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I had a guy one time that I found out through the grapevine. He came into the gym to check it out, and I had my shirt off with a weight belt on.
Uh-huh.
And this is like 5 years ago. And so the weight belt was like pushing my fat over the thing, and he said he didn't want to come to my gym because the owner was fat. So
solid.
Yeah. So
cool.
I mean, I didn't look then like I look now. But,
ladies and gentlemen who are listening, Bradley just pat himself on the back.
But I mean, I did think about it, and I'm like, you know, I get why he said that. You know, I wasn't upset, but I understand it. Like, I get it. So it's tough to say. Like, I understand that there might be a certain look that, you know, owners want, you know, but I also understand, like, and what we're a big part of is we're coaching people for health.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, I understand why people would hire for that reason, but as my own idea of what fitness and health is have changed, so has that idea.
Right, absolutely.
And understanding that, like, I don't know, I feel like there's some people I see and I think they could lift more. Like, oh, you look super fit. You should be able to deadlift 500 pounds, but you and I are picking up the same weight, and vice versa. Someone who's really small, it surprises you what they can do.
I think I had this conversation recently with Emily. We were talking about Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling.
Uh-huh.
And, I was looking at myself in the mirror with my shirt off last night. And I was holding a pose trying to get Emily to make a comment. I'm like, look, I can't hold this much longer. And she looks, and I'm like, eat your heart out, Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds. And Emily's like, whatever, they're hot. And I was like, well, if you saw them in real life, they'd probably look tiny compared to me. And they probably can't lift shit, so.
How about that?
I don't know where I was going with that story, but.
I don't know, but I appreciate that it was included. I'm really happy. I wouldn't have done that otherwise.
Anyway, I think that can kind of be all over the board. I do think there is a movement that is more focused around health and fitness and not necessarily a look. I also think the pendulum might have swung a little bit too far to the I don't know what the right term is. Jamie said it earlier today. Not being okay with your body. Like, I think you should be okay with your or confident about your body,
mm-hmm.
but I can't think of it. But anyway, there's you know how there's body shaming?
Right.
There also tends to be some fit shaming.
Oh, absolutely. We've kind of touched on that before.
Yeah. And so, like, I think the pendulum might have swung a little bit too far the other way. It's starting to come back. So I say we just meet in the middle and work towards health and fitness. And that's what we do here at Rue. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Anything else to add?
I don't think so.
I had fun.
Yeah, this was a good one. It was a very broad list. Covered a lot of different things.
Oh, I like it. So, all right, y'all. We hope you had fun.
Should we touch back on this in January of 2021?
I think we should.
And see what actually
That's a good idea.
happened?
We should do it in December. It should be one of our last podcasts of the year.
I'll set an alarm on my phone.
Yeah, I'm in. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Happy Carnival if you're in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, holler. Bye.
Bye.